It can take an extraordinarily long time indeed for many of us to arrive at what seems like a profoundly simple and almost elementary realization. We should only ever consider entering into relationships with individuals who demonstrate genuine and unwavering enthusiasm for us right from the outset, without any requirement for coaxing, manipulation, or elaborate efforts on our part. There should be no necessity for pleading, pursuing relentlessly, or employing calculated games of emotional distance and withdrawal. Nor should there be a need for therapeutic interventions to convince them of our worth. They must simply be openly eager, receptive, and fully committed from the very beginning. This principle might strike us as remarkably peculiar and, upon deeper reflection, quite astonishing, for it stands in stark contrast to the pervasive narratives embedded in our cultural heritage and the lingering echoes of our personal histories, which subtly promote an entirely opposing philosophy of love. We may have internalized it so deeply that we have scarcely noticed its influence. In numerous instances, what society labels as love is, when scrutinized closely, not the harmonious union of two willing souls, but rather the arduous process of surmounting barriers, resistances, and profound reluctances. It is defined precisely by the absence of immediate mutual affection, avoiding the simplicity of encountering someone who greets us with a warm smile and an open heart, already fully aligned with our desires. For over 2 millennia, the archetypal love story, as we have come to understand it, has been a meticulous chronicle of one individual's fervent pursuit, brimming with unbridled passion and determination, as they labor tirelessly to sway the heart of another who remains distant, preoccupied, or entirely uninterested in reciprocating. The object of affection is often portrayed as exquisitely beautiful or irresistibly charismatic, intellectually brilliant or enchantingly mysterious. Yet invariably, in accordance with the timeless literary traditions, there exists a formidable obstacle that must be conquered. Perhaps they are bound in marriage to another, or devoted singularly to a divine calling. Maybe their pride is so immense that it blinds them to their own vulnerabilities and yearnings for human connection and tenderness. The essence of the plot in these tales becomes the vivid recounting of the myriad challenging and often heart-wrenching steps undertaken, culminating only in the final chapters of the novel or the closing verses of the epic poem, where the lovers are at last brought together in union, exchanging vows amidst triumph over adversity. In this paradigm, love is not portrayed as a natural, flowing emotion, but as the dramatic exposition of the vibrant and multifaceted hurdles that impedes its eventual manifestation and fulfillment. Parallel to these grand literary sagas of thwarted desire and perseverance lies a more personal and intimate narrative woven into the fabric of our own psyches. During our formative years, our initial conceptions of love were often shaped by parental figures who, in their complexities, mirrored the elusiveness and unreliability of those romantic icons in literature. These caregivers may not have shown overt admiration or consistent affection toward us. They might have concealed their emotions behind walls of reserve, struggled with addictions or bouts of depression that diverted their attention, or been physically absent, residing in distant lands, or emotionally entangled with others. This could involve a sibling who captured their favoritism, or a new partner who overshadowed our place in their hearts. From these experiences, we unconsciously absorbed a distorted belief that true love is inherently tied to longing, disappointment, and perpetual striving. It is a cycle of delays, rejections, and feelings of inadequacy, where we are left waiting indefinitely, while the object of our affection pursues alternative paths and priorities. The most indelible lessons of love from childhood revolved around clinging to faint hopes against overwhelming odds, yearning for the day when our beloved guardian might finally recognize our value and deem us worthy, despite our perceived flaws and shortcomings. The enduring impact of these dual influences, cultural myths and personal traumas, shadows us subtly into the realm of adult dating and relationships. In this arena, we might overlook red flags in potential partners, such as those who profess interest yet schedule our next meeting weeks away, or casually reveal they are weighing us against multiple rivals, or enticing opportunities overseas that demand their primary focus. We may tolerate those who shy away from physical intimacy, refusing to initiate closeness or display affection in public settings. Further into the relationship, we fail to recognize the futility of urging someone toward therapy in hopes they will awaken to their desire for us. or convincing them that time spent with us on quiet evenings rivals the excitement of gatherings with their circle of friends. To shatter these illusions and embrace clarity, we require a profound and resolute epiphany. Given the intricate and multifaceted demands of building a fulfilling life together, encompassing responsibilities like child-rearing, financial management, nurturing sexual and emotional intimacy, and sustaining deep friendship, the sole candidates worthy of our consideration are those who, from the initial moments, approach the partnership with an equal measure of conviction and readiness to invest. We can certainly pardon ourselves for having been captivated, over extended periods, by the allure of those enigmatic figures, the reserved and tormented souls, the ones who ignore our communications, and those whose turbulent upbringings lend them an intriguing air of imbalance. Yet, indulging in such pursuits is a luxury we can no longer afford in our finite lives. Our existence is not a scripted romance novel, and we must cease the cycle of reenacting our painful childhood dynamics, or extending undue forgiveness for the unresolved wounds of others. It cannot be deemed love if we are compelled to incessantly reach out, only to be met with excuses of depleted devices or unavailability. It falls short of love when evasion becomes the norm, or when they covertly engage with the content of potential rivals. Love is absent if defensiveness arises, and our reasonable needs for connection are dismissed as overly demanding or intense. We must decisively remove these hesitant and guarded individuals from our spheres without delay or second thoughts. This approach will inevitably lead to dismissing the vast majority of encounters, which only underscores the importance of channeling our energies toward the rare few who possess an innate and unforced zeal for us. It is essential to refine our ability to identify these genuinely enthusiastic partners and to swiftly eliminate all distractions posed by the rest. Should they fail to respond promptly, we must abandon the pursuit without hesitation. Cease the rationalizations that they might be merely timid or that our signals have not been sufficiently explicit. To reinforce this vital truth once more for emphasis, the only lovers deserving of our time and heart are those who require no convincing whatsoever, those who already harbor a deep and sincere affection for us, those who spare us the agony of uncertainty regarding their whereabouts or the timing of their responses, those whose dedication emerges naturally and effortlessly. This allows us to direct our collective efforts toward navigating the inevitable challenges of everyday existence together. The alternatives, though they may appear captivating, aesthetically pleasing, poised for transformation after decades, perhaps 15.5 years, following an enlightening journey to distant lands like India, capable of sparking intense late-night debates and emotional turmoil, and perfectly suited for cinematic adaptations or in-depth psychological analyses, ultimately represent nothing more than a regrettable squandering of our irreplaceable time on this earth.